In the far north of the British Isles is Inverness, the gateway to the Highlands of Scotland. It's a small, quaint city built around the River Ness and full of church steeples with a castle looming on a hill over the old town. Colorful storefronts, cultured pubs, and winding streets give the city a small-town charm, while the rolling hills surrounding the city beg you to explore the Highlands further. This was my first stop on my tour through Scotland, and here's how it went. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Scotland. This is my first day here, and I flew all the way up to Inverness, which is the northernmost city in the UK, and it's kind of like the gateway to the Scottish Highlands up here. So it's a pretty small little city. There's a couple of cute little stone churches and a little old town area. There's the Inverness Castle. Up on the hill we have the Ness River running through the little town here. So a lot of people will come here and then head off to Isle of Skye, do the Loch Ness River cruise, and see a lot of the natural beauty of the Scottish Highlands up here. I just have one day here in Inverness before heading to Isle of Skye, which I'm very excited about. But I don't think there's too much to see or do here, so it'll be a pretty relaxed, pretty chill day. But I want to just walk around, show you a couple of the main sites, show you some of the churches, go for a little walk along the river here, maybe enjoy a nice Scottish pub. And yeah, just give you guys a little bit of a feel of what it's like to be here in Inverness before heading off to the rest of the Highlands. So yeah, let's walk around. We'll start by heading up to the Inverness Castle, which unfortunately I think is under construction until 2025. So I don't think I'll be able to get too close to it, but let's see if we can head up the hill here in Inverness and see if we can get some views of the castle. I've just walked around the whole base of the Inverness Castle here, and unfortunately it's just completely blocked off and fenced off due to the renovations that they're doing, so it won't be accessible until 2025, so still a couple more years until people will be able to go back up to the Inverness Castle. But it's kind of up on this hill right behind the old town here, and the site has been occupied by a castle since the 1000 AD, but there's been a succession of different castles through different wars, and so the most recent structure that we're looking at here was built in about the 1800s, and it was actually a prison and a courthouse for quite a few years, and was even actively used by the sheriff and some of the sheriff courts until about 2020 when they started the construction here. So I'm bummed we can't even go up to the grounds of it, because you're up on this hill right along the River Ness, and so you'd get some really nice views looking out over the river and across the river to some of the hills of the Highlands and St. Andrew's Cathedral. But unfortunately we won't be able to get any closer than this, but already in love with the small quaintness of Scotland here. So we'll head down the hill here, we'll cross the River Ness, and we'll see some of the other things on the west bank of the river. We have just crossed the Ness River here, and we're on the west bank, and you can look back and you can see a little bit of the Inverness Castle, but right along the river here you just have these beautiful row homes that are just these nice stone. They have these nice facades. There's some hotels and cafes, and it's just this beautiful little walking path right along the river. We have these nice trees, and we're heading towards St. Andrew's Cathedral, which is right around the corner here. I have just made it to the Inverness Cathedral, dedicated to St. Andrews, and it's right along the River Ness here, and it has these two massive rectangular steeples, and then the front here Has these beautiful carvings and stone statues in the front here. And the church was built in 1869, and it was the first Protestant church built after the Reformation here in the UK. So some really cool, interesting history, beautiful spot, again, right along the river here. And yeah, so let's head into the cathedral here and see what it looks like on the inside. So unfortunately, they're having a program there for kids. So there's like a bouncy house and everything in the church right now. So they didn't even let me enter, but there was some beautiful stained glass, some nice high arch ceilings. They said I can come back after 2, so I might come back after 2 to get some of the B-roll, which I may have just shown you if I did that. But anyways, right outside of the cathedral here, we're right along the river, and there's the Ness walk, which is this nice little path that's right along the river. There's nice trees and everything. And I'm just gonna go for a walk along the Ness walk here. About a mile down the river here, we have the Botanic Gardens. So that's my destination. We're starting to get some nice fall colors. So it should be a beautiful little stroll along the river. So I've just been walking along the Ness walk here, and it's just this beautiful, peaceful walk. You have this nice park, and it really feels like fall. We have some fall colors, some crunchy leaves. And I'm a little bit bummed because there's these pedestrian bridges that go over to the Ness Island. And when I was going to go back to town, I was going to do a little bit of island hopping, walking across the river, hitting these like little narrow islands that are on the river here. But it looks like they're closed. I don't know if it's for the season or for what, but yeah, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you guys the Ness Islands. I'm hoping I can get some like drone footage of it to show you guys these cool little like narrow islands that are just on the river Ness here. But unfortunately we won't be able to walk the islands on the way back. But yeah, just about a quarter mile left, and going inland a little bit we'll get to the Botanic Gardens. So let's keep walking along the river here. Just finished that walk along the Ness walk, beautiful walk along the river, got into like some nature, and you're just right along the river, along those islands. A bit of a long walk, but I finally made it to the Inverness Botanic Gardens here, and I believe it's a free garden. There's some tropical greenhouses and just some cool plants and some places to walk around. So let's go in to the Botanic Gardens and check it out. First stop was the Tropical House greenhouse, and it was actually so hot and humid in there, which feels good because it's been so cold out here. And then I'm going to cross this little hallway here and enter the cactus room, which will probably also be hot but a little less humid. So let's head in and see the cactuses. very cool exploring a couple of those greenhouses, and again, nice to warm up on this chilly fall day. And there's lots of places to sit in there, so you could like sit and read, and you have fountains going, and very relaxing, and just such cool vegetation, beautiful plants, cactuses, and cool stuff to see. So then out the back here, there's a little bit more of an outdoor garden here, so let's just walk around and see what's in the back here. Cool little spot, not too massive. You just have like those two greenhouses, which are fun to explore, and then a little bit of these gardens out here. But again, just really cool flowers, cool vegetation, and cool to just see like the different biomes there. At the front, there's a little cafe. You can get a coffee, a lunch, and it's about 12:30. So I think I'm gonna grab lunch here, and then you can kind of eat out in one of the greenhouses. So it'll be a cool little place to grab lunch, and then we'll keep exploring Inverness. So that was the Inverness Botanic Gardens. It's a bit far out of the old town, but it was a beautiful walk here along the river. But I think it was worth coming out here and yeah, just seeing some beautiful vegetation, some beautiful plants from all over the world. And then yeah, just having like a nice cozy warm carrot soup here on a nice like brisk fall day was really nice. So anyway, since the Ness Islands are shut down, I'm actually gonna walk a long way over like a road bridge that'll take me over the river because I want to walk back along the east bank of the River Ness. So yeah, let's just go for a nice little walk here. So that was a bit of a detour coming around to the other side of the islands here, but I'm now exactly on the other side of the Ness Islands. Again, the bridge is closed, so we can't go out onto the islands here, but we have a nice little pedestrian pathway that'll take us along the River Ness again. And on this side, it's called Ladies Walk. So let's kind of stroll along Ladies Walk here as we head back to the town center of Inverness. Just made it back to the town center of Inverness. Now I'm excited to just give you guys a bit of a walking tour of the old town here. There's just so many cute little like walking streets and old buildings, cool shops and cafes. There's the Victorian market, and yeah, just really cute little streets to walk around. So let's walk around here. I've actually come all the way back up to the north side of the old town, and I'll start here because on the north town near the High Church there is the Leakey's bookstore, which is a very famous old bookstore here on the edge of the town center. So let's head in there and we'll check out a bunch of like antique books and some other cool like used books that they have there. So let's head into Leakey's and check it out. That was such a cool bookstore. It's just like a book lover's dream. You just have these piles and piles of books, and there's a lot of really old editions. You have these beautiful old leather hardcovers, and just so many books to flip through and look through, and they have old maps, and it feels like it's like in this old church. You have like this balcony in the back and choir loft, and very cool, fun place to explore, and really fun place to photograph because you just have all of the textures of the books. And yeah, spent a little bit of time there. So just behind here is the old high church. So I'm just gonna go up behind the bookstore here. I think there's like an old cemetery and old church to check out. So let's, just behind Leakey's bookstore, let's go up this little hill. So right behind Leakey's bookshop, I've come up this little hill and I'm in the courtyard of the old high church here on the north end of Inverness. And on this mount in AD 500, St. Columba first shared Christianity with King Bruda. So this is kind of the origin of Christianity in the Highlands of Scotland. And so there's been a church on this mount since about that time. This current stone church was from the 1300s. And now you just have all of these old gravestones around here, and then up from this little mount, it backs right up into the river, so you're looking out across the river Ness, and you can see the west bank. Really pretty little spot, really cool old graveyard here, and old church. So anyways, gonna go back down to Castle Street, which is just in front here, and let's just walk around the old town a little bit more and head to the Victorian Market. So I'm just walking along Church Street here, and there's lots of cool pubs, lots of cool old Scottish architecture. And then right along the road here we have the Victorian Market, which is this old market trading series of like little streets that are covered in these little galleys that have all of these independent businesses. We have about 30 different storefronts in this little covered market. And a lot of them are like local artisan generation to generation shops. So let's head into the Victorian Market and check out some of the shopping here. Just finished walking through the Victorian Market there, and lots of cool little shops. Again, a lot of like locally owned souvenir shops. There's barber shops, some cafes, and there's actually like a new food hall that they like just finished in the back there, so you can get, it has like a little bit of like all these different food stands. And then anyways, you come out the other side and it dumps you out at Falcon Square, and you're right near like the main train station of Inverness here. And from here there's a series of other walking streets that'll take us over to High Street, which is the main walking shopping district of Inverness here. So let's kind of meander through the town here, do a little bit of a walking tour to High Street, and I'll show you guys like the main walking shopping place here in Inverness. So I've just walked all the way down High Street, and you have just a lot of like really cool shops. You have some main chains, but then you have some more locally sourced candles and other crafts and souvenir shops along High Street. And then it takes you out to this kind of town square, and you have the town house behind us, which is a municipal building, and it's where the main government of the Inverness is here. And this building just has these beautiful spires going up it, has the Scottish flag waving above it, and it has the Inverness Castle just behind it. So this is near where we started in the morning, and then you have these little wolves and these lampposts at the front of the door here. And unfortunately, I don't think we can go in. I think it's closed for tours now, but this building is from the early 1700s, so very historic, very beautiful look to it, and feels like the center of town here at the end of High Street. And then from here, we just have one more little walking street I want to show you called Castle Street, and I just think it's a very picturesque road with a lot of cool like storefronts. So let's just wander up Castle Street. So that was Castle Street. I think it's just one of the most picturesque streets here in Inverness. It just kind of like winds you up this little hill and it takes you around to the other side of the castle, which is why it's called Castle Street. And you just have these really colorful storefronts and pubs, and yeah, it just has this really cool look to it. And yeah, so that takes me up back around to the castle here, which again is completely under construction. And I think that about ends my tour of showing you guys Inverness here. Again, very small town, everything's pretty walkable. There's not a lot to do, but this is the launching point to go off to do a boat tour of Loch Ness and going off to Isle of Skye, which is what I'm going to do tomorrow. So cool little town, and it was nice and relaxing for me to be in such a small town because I've been doing a lot of big cities recently, so it just feels a little bit more calm and peaceful and a little bit more manageable just to walk around and show you guys this place. So yeah, you can easily see everything you need to see in Inverness in less than 24 hours. So that's it for showing you guys around Inverness, and the only other thing that I can recommend to do is head to a Scottish pub. So later this evening I'm going to go to Hootenanny, which is this well-known pub on the corner of Church Street, and it's known for like playing cool local Scottish music, having some beers, doing some Scottish dancing. So that's it for my first little stop here in Scotland, and I'm really excited to show you guys the rest of Scotland. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.